Boston Sports Tonight is presented by Town Fair Tire. Every brand at the guaranteed lowest price. Nobody beats Town Fair Tire. Nobody.
Welcome to a special Sunday edition, Conference Championship edition of BST. The rundown is brought to you by John Sewer and Drain Cleaning, the name to know when the drains just don't want to flow. The Patriots are going to the Super Bowl. How about that? How the ugly game was won. They won it. It wasn't an artistic masterpiece. They got it done. Part of the reason they got it done, Drake May's legs. And you've heard this story before. The Seattle Seahawks are your next opponent, separating you from another Super Bowl victory. But first things first, first quarter Broncos. Second drive of the game. Nobody saw this coming. Jarrett Stidham connects with Marvin Mims. 52-yard completion against Christian Gonzalez. All right, Stidham's excited. A couple plays later, Stidham throws a 6-yard touchdown pass to Courtland Sutton, and the Broncos score first. They lead 7-zip early second quarter. Broncos with a 4th and 1 on the Patriots 14-yard. Why didn't they take the field goal? They decided to go for it rather than take an easy field goal. Jarrett Stidham throws an incomplete pass. 3 minutes before halftime. Stidham under pressure. What are you going to do, Jarrett? He gets rid of it. Initially called intentional grounding, but reversed to a backwards pass fumble. Patriots recover. 2 plays later, Patriots tie the game. Drake May runs it in. 6 yards out. Patriots add a field goal in the third quarter. They make it 10-7. And the weather slowed down the offenses for the final 20 minutes of the game. Fourth quarter, 2:18 left. Still 10-7. Stidham trying to try Christian Gonzalez. Bad idea. It's intercepted. The Patriots can run out the clock if they convert a 3rd and 6. Drake May, bootleg, calls his own number, outraces Jonah Ellis, Christian's brother, for the first down. Trip to the Super Bowl. Patriots beat the Broncos 10-7 for the AFC Championship. Patriots want to talk about it post-game.
I do this for the players. I've been in their position. I have. I've been there. And it's amazing. And I want other people to feel that feeling.
Always wanted to be a champion, always wanted to be a Super Bowl champion, and the opportunity is right there in front of us. For me, man, I've been in the league 11 years, man. I fell short so many times. I can't say nothing but perfect timing as of right now.
Yeah, it's full circle. You know, my dad, when I think I was maybe 7th grade, said if the Panthers made it, we were going to go. And you know, it was heartbreaking. They lost to the Broncos. And but no, it was what an experience for a kid at my age who loved football, who loves quarterbacks. It was Peyton's last game, and what a Hall of Fame career he's had. So pretty cool to be full circle going back here 10 years later. And I think it's just a special moment for this whole team.
All right, this game was a tale of two halves as the Broncos outplayed the Patriots in the first half, outgaining them 149-72, but the score was tied at halftime. In the second half, it was the Pats defense that dominated. They outgained the Broncos, get this, 134-32. That's right, 134-32. There were 4 missed field goals in the game, but Andy Borregales made a kick in the second half. That kick ended up being the difference in the game. Mike Felger out there in Zoom land somewhere. I'm Michael Holley. Felger, get right to it. Did the Patriots earn it, or did the Broncos give it to them?
Oh, no, they definitely earned it. Of course they did. But I do think those first half numbers really told the story. The game was there to be won for Denver in the first half. I think they pretty much controlled play up and down the field. It's really hard to argue that on both sides of the ball. And to go into the tunnel tied at 7 was a major loss for them. And, I think we can point to that Sean Payton decision to not kick the field goal. I think that was a big one. There was a drop from, it was either Humphrey or maybe it was Sutton on 3rd down on a deep in cut that he could have had that would have kept the chains going and given them another shot for another field goal. Obviously, that hideous, fumble from Stidham just killed him. But, that was it. Denver controlled play, and to go in 7-7, you knew that I think right then and there, you should have realized Denver blew their opportunity.
Felger, it was so bad that you got it right on both guesses. Was it Sutton with the drop? Yes, Sutton had a drop. Did little Jordan Humphrey have a drop? Yeah, he had a drop too. There were a lot of drops for Jarrett Stidham. They didn't make his life easier. He didn't make his own life easier by the ridiculous fumble where he just should have taken the sack. But let's go back. We've talked about this before, Felger. Let's go back to 4th and 1. The Broncos lead 7-0. They got a backup quarterback playing his first game in 749 days. You kick a field goal, you're up by 2 scores at home with your defense playing great. Tell me why Felger, why do coaches keep doing this?
You know why.
Why?
You know why.
Tell me why.
Because the analytics community has taken over sports. And yes, I know Sean Payton is an old school guy. He coached long before the analytics took over, but they've taken over. And I think they've taken the decision-making over from even older experienced coaches. Or at least I think these older experienced coaches know that if I just go with the numbers, no one internally in the organization is really going to second guess me because the owner looks at the numbers and the analytics department says, no, that was the right call. And Mike, I could spend a day on this. I may spend a day on this in the next couple of weeks. The analytics community, I think, in a lot of different sports, just has it wrong. Yet they've convinced everybody that they're the way. I think the three-point shot in the NBA has gone too far and hurts teams. It cost the Celtics a chance at a championship last year. The home runs and the launch angle and that stuff, the 3 true outcomes in baseball, I think they've taken it too far. I think they've hurt a lot of teams in baseball. And in football, it's this going for it on 4th down or the 2-point conversions. We all watch with our eyes.
Absolutely.
You cannot convince me, Mike. You cannot convince me that the numbers add up. But somehow the analytics community have convinced the owners that it does.
And the one thing I'll add, they all say the same thing, too, when you ask them. They don't really give you a good, clear, logical answer. They always say, I was just trying to be aggressive. Well, why don't you be less aggressive? Why don't you be less aggressive? And just
you have a backup quarterback, and it's cold, and the snow's coming, and you can be up 2 scores, and you don't want it? Yeah, are you stupid?
Go up 2 scores with the backup quarterback who hasn't played in 749 days. Anyway, a rough game for Drake May, but not as rough as Jarrett Stidham's game through the air. He was just 10 for 21, 86 yards in this one, but he made up for it with his legs in big spots. He had 65 rushing yards and a touchdown. He also converted the game-sealing first down on a naked bootleg where he called his own number without telling his teammates. Here are the guys on May using those legs.
Yeah, and that's a great thing about Drake and the ability to extend plays, and if it's not there, gain chunks, and he's done that most of the year. And, again, we'll have to get a lot of things corrected, and we'll have to play our best football game in 2 weeks.
He's a tremendous athlete, man. It's a threat. And to be that mobile and be able to run the way he does and see things and extend plays and all that is a big advantage for us.
Our NFL researcher put this out tonight. Patriots average 18 points per game this postseason, fewest by any team to make the Super Bowl since the 1979 Rams. I think their quarterback was Vince Ferragamo. I think that's who it was in 1979. Let's bring in our guy, Phil Perry. All right, so Phil, you heard, the conversation about Drake May and using his legs. Just overall, what did you think of Drake and his game? And do you feel like, even though the legs were good, the passing game needs to step up a bit in the Super Bowl?
Well, yeah, I mean, the passing game numbers were bad, but I think the best number for him in a game like this one is the 0 next to the interception column or the fumble column, especially the way the last couple games had gone with the ball security thing. I thought that might be a factor again today because the Broncos had one of the best pass rushes in football coming into the postseason. So the fact that he didn't turn it over in a game where if the Patriots didn't turn it over, it felt very unlikely that they would lose. I think he did what he needed to do for them to win the game. It did feel like, though, that he was looking at the rush at times, that he was escaping clean pockets at times. So those are things that he's going to have to get cleaned up before the Super Bowl, but not turning it over. That was the key to me.
Huge factor. Phil nailed it. They had, how many turnovers the last 2 games? 5, 6? I mean, whatever that was. They had a boatload of turnovers, and they get 0 against that defense in those conditions. That won them the game. Now, on the defense, quickly, I think we all agreed, and I mean the Broncos defense, we all agreed last week that we thought the Denver defense was overrated. So either we had it wrong, and that Denver defense is legit, or this Patriots offense is struggling. It's one of those two, because even before the snow came, they were not moving the ball.
So what is it, Phil? Do you think the defense is a little, they're not overrated? Patriots, or maybe it's both. Maybe the defense is underrated. It's really good, and the Patriots offense is struggling. Is it both things?
Well, you know what was interesting was I thought the pass game struggled despite the fact that the offensive line actually played okay. Like, did we talk about Will Campbell at all? Aside from a false start penalty, Will Campbell's going up against Nick Bonito at one of the best pass rush pressure percentages of anybody in football this past season, and he really wasn't a factor in a negative way. It felt like Drake May had clean pockets to work from. He just missed throws on occasion. That was even before the snow came, or there were times where he had to try to extend a little bit or scramble himself, and he ended up scrambling for 6 different first downs, which is key for this Patriots offense. But it felt like there were a lot of snaps where he didn't feel like anybody had created enough in the way of separation for him to be able to test them down the field. So there are some issues right now, I think, with their pass game.
You know, Felger, I want to get your thoughts on this. Biggest play of the game came from the unlikeliest of heroes. Leonard Taylor III, who's called up from the practice squad for this game, blocked the potential game-time field goal late in the fourth quarter. Broncos started that drive at the Pats' 32-yard line, but came away with no points. Do you give, once again, credit? Do you give credit to Taylor III for the block? Do you say, oh, Broncos, you screwed that up again? Do you get mad at the kicker? How do you see it, Felger?
Yeah, I mean, I blame the Broncos. I'm sorry. You know, wasn't it ironic that Adam Vinatieri was the one presenting the trophy? Where was Adam Vinatieri yet today, you know, in this game? What a bunch of soft-minded weenie kickers in that game. I'm sorry. I know it was tough conditions, but good Lord, for them, that group outside of the chip shot to go, they went 0 for 3 or 0 for 4 between them. Come on. But what I'm curious about, Phil, is it Taylor? I forgot the kid's name already.
Leonard Taylor III.
Okay. Did they activate him just for that? Just to be in the middle? Did they see something on, I forget the kicker's name in Denver, whatever. Did they see something with the Denver kicker where they said, we want this big guy in the middle for this game?
Well, I'm sure that was part of it, but he has been rotating in defensively. I don't know how many defensive snaps he played. I think it was just good for them to have a little bit of depth there. Those guys tend to get tired, especially at altitude. Great little nugget about that particular kick, though, from the Broncos kicker himself. He was telling reporters after the game, he thinks they aligned a full yard shorter than they should have, the holder, that is, not the line of scrimmage, but where the holder typically aligns. He thinks they screwed that up because of the snow, and they couldn't see the yard markers on the ground, which, of course, makes it easier for somebody like Leonard Taylor to block the kick because it doesn't have enough space to clear the line. So just another, wonky sort of detail for an ugly game here today.
That team is not as close as we thought. Hey, somebody's got to go out there and clear that space.
Yeah, where's the plow?
Come on, where's the teamwork here? All right, coming up, we'll preview the Super Bowl as the Patriots will face the winners out of the NFC. Those will be the Seattle Seahawks. 2 weeks from tonight. Thoughts on that one after this? And after this, I mean, it's time for another Chevrolet Sportsnet Central update. They certainly had some help from the elements, but much like their previous 2 playoff games, the Patriots defense came alive in the second half, holding the Broncos to just 32 total yards after halftime. New England has allowed a total of just 6 points in the second half of their 3 playoff games. Impressive. Yet their star defenders think they aren't getting the credit that they deserve. Listen.
2 weeks in a row it was always, whoever the Texans, they talked about the Texans defense, and then this week it was all about the Broncos defense. And like Milt said, I think it's shown we get that chip on our shoulder.
I feel like every week we show who we are, and we still don't get no respect. So, we had the number 1 O-line in the group today, so we'll see what somebody got to say about that when y'all watch the tape and go see what we did today.
All right, that'll do it for the Chevrolet Sportsnet Central update. More BST coming up with Phil Perry right after this.
Chevrolet Sportsnet Central updates are presented by your New England Chevy dealers and the Chevy Silverado, the strongest, most advanced Silverado ever. Find yours today at your local New England Chevy dealer.
There's an easier way to pay for the everyday and unexpected. Up to $500 in 5 minutes or less. Download Dave today.
This is a hernia mesh legal alert. If you experienced problems following a hernia repair, which resulted in the need for the removal of the surgical mesh, you may have a case. Defective or recalled hernia mesh products have been used during many surgical procedures nationwide since 2010. Financial compensation may be available if your hernia mesh was removed due to severe abdominal pain, adhesion or erosion of the hernia mesh, infection, allergic reaction, or other complications. Call now for a free consultation and case evaluation. It is not necessary to know what type of hernia mesh was used during your surgery. The lawyers at Science & Kirk can help. There are no fees or expenses unless a recovery is obtained. Don't wait. Call now to find out if you have a case.
Call 1-800-242-1814 for a free case evaluation. Call 1-800-242-1814.
So we actually known for the spice drum. Yeah, man, this is a local thing, man.
There's way more stars in this section. That's the problem.
The Winter Blues sale is now on. Visit sandals.com today.
Hear that? That's the sound of your life. Perfectly imperfect. Beating in rhythm to the world you've created. But every time you drive after drinking, the music gets drowned out. Your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzzed driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed.
Tonight's show is brought to you in part by your New England Ford dealers and Ford F-Series, the best-selling trucks for 48 years. Tonight's show is brought to you in part by Shaw's, proud to be local since 1860.
All right, the Patriots will go for a Super Bowl title on Sunday, February 8th. We'll get you ready starting at 4 p.m. We got Pregame Live. It's presented by Jim Plumbing and Heating. Make Jim part of your game plan for home and business. Visit AskJim.com. As soon as the game is over, we'll have a full wrap-up and reaction from the locker room and field. Postgame Live is presented by your New England Ford dealers and Ford trucks, built Ford tough. And the Seattle Seahawks will meet the Patriots in that Super Bowl as they defeated the Rams. Great game, 31-27. Sammy Darnold was dealing great in this one, throwing for 346 yards, 3 touchdowns, while Jackson Smith and Jigba, unguardable, 10 receptions, 153 yards, a touchdown. Seattle opens as a 3.5-point favorite over the Patriots. Let's roll, presented by Town Fair Tire. Start with you, Felger. How we feel about the Super Bowl? How you feel about the matchup?
So it should be a great game. I mean, I think that Seattle, like it's another one where you sort of look and you say that opposing quarterback, you know, maybe not as bad as Jared Stidham and all the inexperience, but Sam Darnold has put up some big numbers the last couple of years. He's won a lot of games, and everyone thinks he sucks. So, and he might, you know, but, you know, you sort of take out that piece to it, and, you know, I think most people would give most of the check marks to Seattle, you know, across the board. But the quarterback is such a big one. And then coach, you know, I think this is one. The last couple of weeks, I've liked both the last couple of opposing coaches. I'm a big fan of DeMeco Ryans, and Sean Payton has a big, lengthy resume. And I think the last 2 games, the check marks were kind of close on the coaching. This one feels like a more definitive check mark to the Patriots side. So coach, quarterback, does Seattle have everything else? Like, that's maybe kind of how to look at it.
What do you think, Phil?
Yeah, I look at Seattle's defense as being maybe one of the best, I mean, one of the 2 or 3 best in football. And Mike McDonald really running the show there as the head coach and as a defensive guy. He is not a big personality, but he must be a defensive genius the way they have played. And they have talent really at all three levels too. They have great defensive tackles. They have good linebackers, athletic guys, some guys that are sort of these safety linebacker hybrids. And then they have corners that are really playmaking corners. Devin Witherspoon is a first-round pick, same year as Christian Gonzalez. And Reek Woolen, who almost gave the game away.
He was a mess.
Today.
Oh my God.
He was a disaster. But he'll get his hands on the football, and he has, if you give him an opportunity, he'll make a play there too. So it's that defense that would worry me if I'm the Patriots. Sam Darnold, Michael, he was 19th in QBR this year. Drake May was first. That's a stat that ESPN puts together. That does factor in strength of schedule. So Darnold is, even though the numbers have been, and he was great today, the numbers have been pretty good. The analytics community, not big on Sam Darnold.
And look, the analytics community in this case is right. Like Darnold was dealing today, but he leads the league in turnovers. I mean, from the quarterback spot, I think he had 20 in the regular season. A lot of interceptions, a lot of fumbles, but he also threw for a lot of yards. And Smith and Jigba was unbelievable the entire season. And I like the way they match up both. Really strong defenses, both defensive-minded head coaches, Felger. Hey, not those young guys in the tight khakis and the offensive gurus. We got two defensive-minded head coaches meeting in the Super Bowl. So defensive coaches everywhere will celebrate. All right, if you thought the Patriots' playoff opponents in the AFC were flawed, I can assure you the Seahawks are not. Finished top 10 in nearly every important category this season. 8th in total offense, 3rd in scoring offense, 6th in total defense, 1st in scoring defense, and 1st in point differential. I want to ask you this, Phil, if you think this factors in, because most teams that we look at in the playoffs, they say, all right, this is a zone team. They play 70% zone. That's what they do. Or it's a man team, 58% man. That's what they do. I think Seattle's the only team in the league. They can go back and forth, and it's not a problem. If you beat them in man, okay, we'll play zone. We'll zone you up, and we're good there. They are excellent in both man and zone. Do you think that will trip up? Will it be the toughest test so far for? We keep saying this about Drake May, but will this be the toughest test he has so far?
It does feel like we're saying it every week, but I think there's an argument to make when it comes to the Seattle defense and say that, it might be the toughest defense he's faced, and part of it is that versatility. One thing they've done lately, I'll be interested to see what the final numbers are after this Rams game tonight, but of late they've been using a lot of too high safeties, and they've been able to get away with it because their front is so active and so fast and able to get after the quarterback, so you can sort of pull a player out of that front seven, Felger, and put them, add that body to the secondary, and so you sort of have both areas covered. The line of scrimmage and the secondary makes it really hard to move the football.
Felger, I want to ask you this. Do you buy into, cornerback, number one corner versus number one wide receiver matchups? So you got Christian Gonzalez for the Patriots, who's been really good in the playoffs. And you've got Jackson Smith and Jigba, who's been good the entire season, including the playoffs. Do you think that'll be a key factor in this game?
I hope. I know the Patriots haven't often deployed Christian Gonzalez like that. A lot of times he's in zone. A lot of times he's on the weak side of the defense, on the quarterback's offside, and he's just sort of playing his spot. I would love to see Christian Gonzalez try and neutralize this player, Smith and Jigba, who's been one of the best players in the league this year. I don't know. I mean, listen, if they do it, great. It'll be a fun matchup to watch. I just don't see them doing it. And, and there's a whole nother school of thought that says when you have a player like Smith and Jigba, what you really do is you put your second corner on him with safety help, and you double team. You put two guys on the number one receiver, and you put your stud corner on the number two, and just give them the number two all day and play that way. Belichick used to do that, so that happens too. So I don't know if we're going to get it. I'll turn it to Phil. If we do get it, how do you like Christian Gonzalez's chances? Because up until that lollipop interception that he got at the end, he got beat a couple times in this game today.
Yeah, and he's been beat a few times this year, and it doesn't always hurt the Patriots. There was a drop by Brandon Cooks. I remember deep down the field at Gillette Stadium when they played the Bills and they lost to the Bills here. There was a drop. DeAndre Hopkins, I think, beat him down the left sideline in Baltimore. So there are a few plays that, in the latter portion of the season where I did feel like he was beat and the other team just wasn't able to really hurt him on it. I think I like the idea of putting him on Smith and Jigba because I don't like the idea that Felger just suggested of Carlton Davis potentially on Smith and Jigba.
Don't love it. No.
Darnold loves to throw it down the field, and Jigba's been making all kinds of plays down the field. When you have Carlton Davis chasing a guy down the field, Michael, you just worry about those lengthy DPI penalties.
Yeah, I've told this story before a couple years ago, talking to Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson went to Ohio State, just like Smith and Jigba. He said, hey, he's better than me, talking about JSN. I said, why do you think he's better than you? He said, oh, I know he's better than me, and the league is going to see it. And this is when, after he had like a so-so rookie year. So that's a guy, I wouldn't mess around with him. I'd put my best guy on him. Forget it. Phil, I want to ask you quickly, in the last 35 seconds or so, have the Patriots changed their identity? Are they now a defense-first team?
That's the way they got here. I think they still are going to have to be relatively balanced, though, because against this defense, you're going to need your quarterback to make big-time plays to put points on the board.
All right, Phil,
you're talking up that. Phil, I'd stop talking up the Seattle defense. Milton Williams, Milton Williams somewhere says that. Why they're just talking about the other defense? I'd button it up quick, Phil, because you're about to get a scolding.
Hey, listen, but you gotta give it to Milton Williams. So Milton Williams, they're a completely different defense. When Big Milton was out there. When he was out, you could run on him. Now that he's been back, they look dominant. So we got a lot to talk about this week. Patriots, Seahawks in the Super Bowl. Hey, we'll see you guys.
The Golf Now app is the fastest, easiest way to go play. With the app, you can instantly book tee times 24/7 at over 9,000 great courses. And with an easy-to-use search and detailed information about each course, you'll find the right place to play and the right tee time every time. Then, check in from your phone and head straight to the first tee. It's the one golf app that does it all. Download the free app and book your round today. Golf Now. Go play.
This winter, make Smuggler's Notch Resort Vermont your home away from home. Smugs is home to 3 big mountains, 78 trails, terrain for all abilities, and 300 inches of average snowfall with top-to-bottom snowmaking. Smugs, your home away from home with daily access to heated pools, hot tubs, tubing, Nordic trails, and endless indoor play at the Fun Zone 2.0. Plus, enjoy a variety of dining and shopping options in the village with weekly activities to entertain the entire family. Kids ski and ride free in January. Visit smugs.com today.
I'm not feeling this today.
Hey, champ, you need a new game plan. And fast.
Doug Flutie and Frank Thomas. What are you doing in my bathroom?
More like your new locker room.
You turn 40, your testosterone level drops, strength, energy, and drive all go south.
Did it happen to you?
Yep.
What did you do?
Nugenix Total T2. That's your new game plan.
You're stronger, more energized, and unstoppable.
From the #1 selling, #1 doctor-recommended testosterone brand comes Nugenix Total T2. A unique new formula that combines the ultimate free and total testosterone booster with a powerful nitric oxide booster that works in just 3 hours. Feel like a new man, leaner, stronger, with more energy and drive. Get your complimentary bottle by texting Paul to 321-321.
Who are you talking to?
You wouldn't believe me.
Oh, by the way, she'll like it too.
You can only try before you buy with this special offer. Get your complimentary bottle now. Text Paul to 321-321. Text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X absolutely free.
Take control of the snow, ice, and freezing rain this winter with a new set of Toyo Open Country AT3 tires from Town Fair Tire. At Town Fair, you always get Toyo tires at the guaranteed lowest price. Plus, nobody gives you more free services for life than Town Fair Tire. If you're looking for the best deal on Toyo tires, get to Town Fair, because nobody beats a Town Fair Tire deal. And I mean nobody.